Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's so great to have you here hanging out with me again. In this video, I'm going to give you the good and the bad traits of Libra and then give you a bit of a guide, giving you the top 3 do's, the things to do in order to bring out the best in your Libra, and the top 3 don'ts, which would be the things not to do. This way you can do your part to make sure not to trigger your Libra into behaving from their negative traits. I'm also going to cover the cusps of Libra and how being born on the cusp will affect their personality. In addition to that, I'm going to give you the biggest difference between a male Libra and a female Libra. And last but not least, I'm going to give you the best soulmate matches for Libra. So hopefully if you have a Libra in your life, this will help you to deepen the connection and create a thriving relationship with the enchanting, diplomatic, socially inclined Libra. This info will apply to Libra Sun as well as Libra Moon. Okay, so no more wasting time. Here is the good and bad of Libra and a quick guide on how to get the best version of them in a relationship. Let's go. Okay, so here are some positive traits of Libra, then I will give you the top 3 do's in order to bring out the best in your Libra. So some of the positive traits of Libra, they are creative, diplomatic, adaptable, and charming. Libras have a great eye for beauty. They are ruled by Venus, and because of this, they have great taste, so they are definitely creative. Libras are represented by the scales because they are the one sign that naturally looks at the world by weighing both sides of any given situation. So when they're dealing with people or in the midst of a conflict, they are very diplomatic in the way that they approach the situation. Because of this ability to look at both sides of the situation, they are open-minded. And when a person approaches their experiences with an open mind, it lends to them being very adaptable because they aren't so attached to one particular outcome or point of view. So Libras are for sure adaptable. And because, like I said, they are ruled by Venus, they have a natural magnetism and charisma that makes them very charming. Now, in order to do your best to make sure the Libra in your life is operating from those positive traits I just mentioned, here are the top 3 do's when it comes to a relationship with a Libra. Number 1. Do be open-minded. Libras can be very opinionated, but the great thing about them is when they're in a good space, they are always open to someone else's perspective and actually excited by the idea of learning some new information that could potentially change their mind. And they are very, very turned off by someone who is rigid in their thinking. So if you want to get the best from your Libra, approach any discussion or disagreement with an open mind, and you will get a much more amicable version of your Libra. Number 2. Do have a sense of humor. One of the greatest things about Libras is that they love to laugh. And even in the midst of a challenging time, if you can get them to laugh and see the humor in the situation, they become much more agreeable and willing to move forward in a solution-oriented way. So even when you're working through a stressful situation, if you can keep it lighthearted, your Libra will for sure appreciate that energy and feel much more at ease with you and excited about the connection that the two of you have. Number 3. Do work as a team and communicate accordingly. Libra is the sign of partnership. So when they're in a relationship, they want to work as a team. This means when one person in the relationship is making a decision that is going to affect both of you, make sure to run it by the other person first so you can make decisions together. Even if you feel like your intentions are in the right place, if you just go rogue and make a decision that's going to have an effect on your Libra without running it by them, you are not going to get a favorable response. And it's not about them trying to control you. It's just about the fact that they like to work as a team. If you're on a team and you're going to run a play, all of the teammates are informed so you can be on the same page and have the most successful outcome possible. Same goes for relationships. The more you two can be on the same page, the more successful the relationship will be. Keep these do's going strong and you will experience the good times, laughter, and loving nature of your Libra. Now, if your Libra gets triggered to anger, then get ready for a meltdown because when those scales get out of balance, your Libra can quickly go from being a sweet idealist to a not so sweet pessimist. Here's what you can expect from the dark side of Libra. They can become indecisive, self-indulgent, dependent, and manipulative. And when a Libra gets overwhelmed and thrown off balance, it becomes very difficult to make a decision for fear that things could get worse based on whatever they decide. They almost get paralyzed in those moments in terms of the decision-making process. So yes, they can for sure be indecisive. When they get triggered in a negative way, it is also a time where they start to care much less about consequences and definitely start to care less about serving anyone else's needs other than their own. So this is when they become self-indulgent. And because it is so difficult to make a decision for them when their scales are out of balance, they can become dependent on someone else as an attempt to find some sense of security and stability. And when a Libra is angry, they can become very manipulative because they are intelligent and they're charming, and they will find a way to get what they want without much concern of the negative consequences. So it is best to make sure not to do things that will trigger your Libra into switching to the dark side. So to help you on this journey of staying on the good side of Libra, here are the don'ts. Number 1, don't be rude. Now, when I say don't be rude, I'm talking about rude to them or to anyone in general. A Libra at their best is very conscientious about the well-being of others, and they want to be in a relationship with someone who has the same sensibility when it comes to how they behave in public and in private. And if they witness you being rude to them, or especially if they witness you being rude to someone else who they know does not deserve that sort of energy, it can really change the way that they feel about you. And they will distance themselves from you and do their best to end any sort of connection that they have with you. Number 2, don't pressure them. Libras are live and let live, and they like the freedom in that way of being. So if you try to pressure them in any way to do or think what it is you want them to do or think, they will resist your efforts strongly. Libras, like all of the air signs, need a certain level of freedom to be who they are, and if you stand in the way of that freedom in any way, then you will absolutely get a negative response. Number 3, don't take it personally if they change their mind. If a Libra makes plans with you and then changes their mind before the event takes place, or even if they said something like they love a certain type of food or they love this restaurant that you guys go to, but then when you invite them to go to that restaurant, they tell you that they don't like that restaurant or they're not in the mood to go to that restaurant. Don't take it personally. It has nothing to do with how they feel about you. They just change their perspective often based on how they're feeling that day or in that moment. And if you give them the freedom to do that without any judgment, they'll be much more easygoing and willing to do the things that they know make you happy. But if you take it personally and you start an argument because they have yet again changed their mind, they will begin to feel judged and even trapped, and a Libra will run as far away from you as possible if they start to feel that way. So know that it's not about you. They just like the option to have an opinion on a situational basis as opposed to signing their beliefs in blood with no option to change. Okay, so now that you have the do's and don'ts, it's important to know that there are many different versions of Libras because we are not just our sun sign. And for the different versions of Libra with regard to how they will be affected depending on what their moon sign is, check out my video titled The Top 10 Things You Need to Know About Dating a Libra. The second half is all about the different versions of a Libra based on their moon sign and how it affects their personality. And if you're new to astrology and you don't know what a moon sign is, check out either of these 2 videos where I explain what your moon sign is and why it's important. And if you don't even know your moon sign, go to astrologyguide.com, put in your birthday info, and find out. Now, the biggest difference between a male Libra and a female Libra is this. A Libra woman's mood is highly affected by her surroundings. So if you want to make sure to get the best version of her, you want to make sure that the environment that the 2 of you are connecting in is spacious, clean, and attractive with an energy that promotes a peaceful disposition. When her environment is to her liking, then she responds with a favorable energy and you will for sure get the best version of her. Whereas one of the main necessities for a Libra man to be at his best is making sure to give him words of affirmation. A Libra man does his best to be understanding and attentive to the person that he's with, and in order to continue to get that version of him that is focused on meeting your needs, you need to let him know that you appreciate his efforts. A little appreciation with a Libra man goes a long way. He does not want to feel unsure about how you're feeling, so let him know when he's on the right track, and he will be consistent with that affection and focus that he is so capable of giving. Both are in love with the idea of love, but hold that idea to a very high standard. So if you're lucky enough to call either the Libra man or the Libra woman the object of your desire, then make sure you are ready to live up to the challenge because they set the bar high. But rest assured, if they see you making an effort to create a great connection, they will make the experience well worth it. Now let's talk about cusps. So for those of you that are new to astrology, cusps basically mean those people born right when one sign is ending and another sign is about to begin. So there are 2 cusps for each sign. For Libra, the first cusp would be those of you who are born from September 23rd to September 27th, right when Virgo is ending and Libra is beginning. This would make you a Libra with Virgo tendencies. This would give you the usual Libra traits of being people-oriented and having the charisma to be liked by others, but it will also give you a keen eye for detail, and you may find yourself taking on more than you can handle. This will also amplify your desire to give a good impression to the public, so you will strive to always put your best foot forward. When it comes to love, you prefer to keep your emotions balanced. However, you may find yourself going back and forth between being in a great mood or just being over everything. When this does happen, you do quickly recalibrate and get yourself back to normal, but these highs and lows do frequently occur. Being in a relationship brings fulfillment for you, and more than likely, you are pretty flirtatious. Now, those of you who are Libras born from October 18th to October 22nd, you are a Libra with Scorpio tendencies. You will have the usual Libra magnetism and charm, but you will also have the desire to manipulate situations so you can be the one in control. When you have a goal in mind, you can be laser focused and put the full force of your personality behind achieving that goal. When it comes to love, you are very sensual and have no problem attracting attention, even if you aren't aware of this gift. This will also lend to you having a bit more of a temper than the traditional Libra, but you would rather keep the peace as opposed to arguing. But if you do get pushed to the point where an argument takes place, you can be pretty intense and intimidating to the person that you're in a conflict with. Now, when you love intensely and deeply, and you may have a bit more of a jealous streak. Which leads me to the next topic, which is Libras and their best matches for soulmates. So I'm going to break this down into 3 categories. Category 1, the best matches for Libra. In no particular order, the best matches for Libra would be Gemini, Leo, Aquarius, and Sagittarius. The second category are the signs that can work for Libra, but it will definitely be tricky and it will take a little extra work. These signs would be Taurus, Cancer, Capricorn, Pisces, and dating another Libra. The third category would be the most challenging matches for Libra, and those signs would be Virgo, Scorpio, and you guys know how I feel about anti-signs dating each other. There will be an initial attraction because opposites do attract, but because they are polar opposites, there will be some major challenges seeing eye to eye in some very specific areas, and for that reason, it is very challenging for a Libra to date an Aries. Now remember, I am a firm believer that you can be with anyone if you're in love and both of you are committed to growing together, having good communication, and always doing your part to stay connected. You know what I always say, love. That's all and that's enough. But this is just to help you in understanding where the challenges will come into play and how big those challenges will be. But like I said, this is general information because it's only based on just one placement. And knowing the entire chart, the moon sign, the rising sign, and Venus placement are all gonna play major roles in compatibility. So it's important to do a compatibility breakdown on the entire chart if you want the compatibility to be as accurate as possible. Because just the sun sign compatibility will mostly indicate if you have things in common and how differently or similarly you see the world intellectually, but you'll have to check the moon sign for emotional compatibility, your Venus for how the two of you experience pleasure and the type of energy that you're attracted to and why. Also remember that if you have Libra moon, this video will resonate, but think of it more of explaining how you are emotionally as opposed to the overall disposition of your conscious mind and how you see the world. So there you have it. The do's and don'ts of dating a Libra and some extra info on cusps, the biggest difference between a male and female Libra, and a compatibility breakdown when it comes to finding a soulmate. Hopefully this helps you if you're in a relationship with or interested in being in a relationship with the Venus-ruled, romantic, refined, charismatic, sometimes fickle Libra. I really hope you all enjoyed this information. If you did, please hit that like button. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with me, and I will see you in the next video.